Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 56 of Big Brother Season 23's overnight feed recaps. Welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house, and welcome to September. Can y'all believe it? We're in September. That normally means the end of Big Brother, and this season isn't any different. Even though we still have a lot of people in the house, we're getting towards the end. We're getting towards the end game, which can't get here soon enough. I tell you what, Thursday night can't get here soon enough. We didn't have a whole lot of really intense conversations going on in the house, which unfortunately I kind of expect when we already know what's going to happen on Thursday night. And for those of you who aren't familiar or aren't aware, we've got Kylan and Sarah Beth on the block. Sarah Beth is going home. There's no ifs, ands, and buts at this point in time. Sarah Beth's going home. I'm just waiting until Thursday night to see who the new HOH is, because then, depending on who it is, all kinds of things could happen. I don't know how many weeks I've said that so far this season of if we can just get to Thursday, it's going to pick up and get more exciting. But I do believe that this week. But for right now, Sarah Beth's going home. Not a lot of conversations that took place overnight with a whole lot of impact, but there's a few things certainly worth talking about. So let's get right into that. First of all, let's right as I switch over to the live feeds for the late afternoon, early evening. I've got Tiffany and Claire and Hannah are talking. They've decided that they're going to tell Sarah Beth that she's going home. They're going to wait till about an hour before the live eviction show, and then they're going to tell Sarah Beth. I kind of get it, and I get why they're telling her, so it's not a complete blindside. Although, really, it shouldn't be a blindside to Sarah Beth at this point in time, but they want to make sure that it's not going to be. But why wait for so long? At this point, Sarah Beth can't do anything to change the game. She doesn't know enough at this point to really blow up anyone's game also. So I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks tell her even a little bit earlier than that. Give her a chance to really enjoy her last day in the house and appreciate everything that's going on. I don't just a personal thought. But they're going to wait till about an hour before the show to let her know that she is indeed the person that's going home. And again, it shouldn't be a surprise to her, but there's still a part of her. She had a long conversation with Kylan. Imagine that, the two of them talking all night long. But she had a long conversation with him, and she's still saying that, hey, Tiffany has kind of said she's voting you out and everything, but maybe she's just BSing me. But she's still holding out a little bit of hope that she truly may have a little more time left in this game. Now, this is it, Sarah Beth. Enjoy your last couple of days in the house. All right, we do have a few other things going on. Big D has cleaned the oven. Is that important? Well, not really, but it brings up some background. We lost, was it 2 nights ago? We had the feeds down for about 3 hours, and I'd seen some little rumors online that maybe it had to do with a fire or something. Well, it turns out that's exactly what it had to do with. Apparently, Ozza was cooking a steak or something in the oven, had it too close to the top, grease caught fire, caught the whole kitchen on fire. Well, maybe not the whole kitchen, caught the oven on fire, the stove on fire. They had to use a fire extinguisher. I'm sure that was messy and exciting. Probably the most exciting thing that's happened all week in this house. And we missed it, of course. Put that on the live feeds. As long as no one gets hurt or anything, put that on the live feeds. That would have had us talking and excited. But now we didn't get to see it. But we got a little bit of the aftermath here, and I'm talk about it. And so now Big D's cleaned the oven. He said, "Now we're good to go now." You've got to have everyone every season, at least someone in that house who cares, who's the extra step in terms of cleaning and everything else. My season, it was Kat, and David as well. They both very much like to keep everything clean. It was nice having them do some of that extra work. Well, this season we've got Big D, and so he's cleaned out the oven and declared it safe and ready for operations yet again. We've got the house guest in, I don't know, the kitchen and the living room. They're just playing a lot of different games with each other, playing two truths and a lie. And then telling some stories, singing some of their songs. I think Xavier sang a couple of them. Even sharing some of their user ID names from old online accounts. If you want to know Claire's Hotmail account, you can go back and watch the flashbacks and find that. Hey, you can find her Neopets account as well, if that's still such a thing. I doubt it, but you never know. But yeah, they spend a lot of time talking about old online accounts and things like that, and just a lot of non-game information, but trying to kind of make it through the evening talking about different stuff. Then we do have a couple of conversations. We've got Tiffany and Kylan are talking. And it's funny, a little bit later, Tiffany suddenly realizes that today is Wednesday, and she says, "Oh my God, we got one-on-ones taking place today." I'm sure, especially since everyone knows that Sarah Beth's going home, I don't think anyone really wants to have one-on-ones with Sarah Beth or with Kylan for that matter, knowing that Kylan can kind of extend the conversation out a little bit. So Tiffany has realized that she's going to have to go through one-on-ones with both of them, and she's not really liking that. But having said that, she actually is talking to Kylan a little bit earlier in the evening. And Kylan is wanting to ensure that Tiffany is agreeing that she'll take him to final two. And he's assuring her that he won't take Xavier. He said, "Look, you and I, yeah, you got to take me." He also says, "Now, I'm fine with Hannah being part of a final three, the three of us working together. I'm fine with that as long as you promise me that you're taking me over Hannah to the final two." And of course, Tiffany's like, "Oh, yeah, of course. No problem at all. Absolutely." Tiffany is in turn telling Kylan that, "Yeah, I'll do that." But also at the same time, once it gets to just the Cookout Alliance members, we got to get rid of Big D. Now imagine that, Tiffany wanting to get rid of Big D. Who would have thunk that, huh? But yeah, she's saying, Kylan, yeah, we can do a final two. I'm happy to do that, but we got to get rid of Big D. Here's two thoughts I've got on that. First of all, I don't think there's any way that Tiffany takes Kylan to the end of this game. First of all, she doesn't trust him. She's already talked about how his game is all personal and that she thinks he's playing a little bit of a selfish game. She doesn't trust Kylan enough to ever really seriously entertain taking him to the final two. And secondly, I just don't think that she wants to be stuck with Kylan in the house when there's only 3 or 4 people left, where you have limited number of people to talk to. And if it's not someone that you really necessarily enjoy talking to that much, it just makes life that much more difficult. I just don't think on a purely personal, emotional level, Tiffany doesn't want to have to spend that much time talking to Kylan those last weeks or two. So I don't think there's any way that she takes Kylan to a final two, but she's saying the right words, and she's making sure that she's got him bought into it. And that's the thing. What a masterful move from Tiffany to buddy up to Kylan. She knows that he's losing Sarah Beth, his tightest connection inside that house. She knows that he's going to be alone at that point in time. So she, even though she's got some distrust of everything, she is reaching out to him. She's buddying up to him. She's going to be his best friend for the next few weeks to make sure that if Kylan does have some influence, or if he's part of a guys group that's going after women in the Cookout Alliance, that maybe it won't be her. Tiffany's just, she's playing a great strategic game in terms of trying to work relationships when she needs to work relationships. All right. Having said all that, and saying there's no way Tiffany's going to take Kylan to a final two, she later does talk to the cameras and says, "Look, I'm going to ride with the people who are willing to take me to the very end. And if Kylan wants to take me, then that works in my favor. I'm fine with that. That works perfectly for me." But then she says, "But I'm definitely taking Hannah to the final two." Yeah, I think at this point, Hannah and Tiffany probably are looking at each other. Certainly Tiffany's looking at Hannah as being her preferred final two choice when we get to the end game. What? It's not Kylan, and it's not going to be Claire. It's sure not going to be Big D. So Hannah, and I don't think Tiffany wants to match up against Xavier either. So Hannah is probably her first choice as a final two, and Ozza probably number 2 on her list of who she'd like to be sitting next to in those final 2 chairs. We've got a lot of non-game talk from the house guys, just general chit chat and waxing versus laser hair removals and just things like that. Just a lot of non-game talk. We do have Sarah Beth and Kylan in Have Not Room for a long time. They spent most of the night together talking. At one point late in the evening, Kylan said, "Does it bother you that we're kind of isolated up here?" And Sarah Beth said, "Nah, I'm okay with it." And at this point in time, it probably doesn't matter. But as I said before, you really need to be building relationships. Whichever of these 2 people are left, you should be building relationships with everyone else instead of just locking yourself away upstairs. But they're upstairs in the Have Not Room talking for most of the evening. Sarah Beth is talking about how worried she is that she's going to get out there, talk to Julie, and quickly discover that the viewers, the American public, hates her, that they just don't like her. Well, here's the thing, guys. She needs to be prepared She needs to have some thin skin. She needs to be prepared to laugh at herself about some of the mistakes she's made, and she needs to be ready to just own up to a few things and just let things happen. Because social media for everyone coming out of that house can be brutal. It can just be tough. Everyone has haters. Everyone has people that like them, and Sarah Beth's going to get a few of each, and she just needs to be prepared. But I'm going to take this moment to throw out my Cliff Hog reminder to everyone, if I could. These are regular people playing a very stressful game to the best of their ability, good or bad. They're trying to play the game. They're trying to win the game. They're doing it the best they can. So please don't attack them or their families about something that happened on a game show, because as much as we love Big Brother, that's all it is. It's a game show designed for our entertainment. And so an attack can be more than just physical. Words carry weight and can hurt as well. So please be sympathetic to these people that get out of this house this season and every season, because it's tough in there. It's just tough. It's a hard game. So please be considerate when they get out. I know everyone watching this will do that, but not everyone does. All right. So enough of my little soapbox at that point. But yeah, she's worried about her perception and what people are going to think when she gets out of the house. She's also worried that whichever one of them stays in the house will likely be the next target. And she again expresses some doubt she's talked about before, that Tiffany and Claire and Xavier and Alyssa are this big group that are working together. She really has no clue about the Cookout Alliance. I keep thinking maybe she kind of has an inkling and she just hadn't verbally thrown it out there. I see that with Claire, and I see that with Derek X, where they kind of were hinting around that they maybe saw something. Sarah Beth doesn't seem to have any indication that the Cookout Alliance exists by even talking about that group. Now, Kylan he's kind of spinning a lot of bull to her, saying, oh, Tiffany and Azza and Big D, one of them is probably going to go out the door next before you or I. I think that's going to happen, Sarah Beth. Well, we know that's not the case. It's Cookout Alliance is going to protect those people for at least another day. We'll see Alyssa and Claire as the next targets, almost certainly. So he's spinning a little bit to Sarah Beth, but he's also talking a lot. He's kind of hinting around and suggesting and implying without actually confirming, talking a lot about, hey, how you could have a tight group that could also do better. If you had a tight group that also had duos attached to each of them, that group could probably get further ahead than if people were playing an individual game. Does that sound like any alliances that we may have been watching this season? Yeah, he's kind of hinting around about the Cookout Alliance without actually confirming it or throwing out names or anything else. He at one point says, I'm just going to call them the Illuminati. And he's talking about this group of 4 with duos and everything. So he's doing a lot of dancing around and talking about it without actually talking about what they've got. But he seems to be kind of hinting to her with it. And so he's described the Cookout Alliance without actually naming names. I think he's trying to give her enough hints that maybe it's going to soften the blow / betrayal when Sarah Beth finds out that she indeed was maybe not Kylan's top priority this particular season. I think he's just kind of trying to, I don't know. I almost got the feeling that he's hinting around enough about it with the hopes that Sarah Beth at some point will say, oh my gosh, he was right. He's brilliant. Okay, well, you told me and I didn't listen, but obviously you're right, Kylan. Well, yeah, he knows what's going on. But anyway, I think there's some of that going on as well. So he's hinting around all about this potential super alliance. And then also, and Sarah Beth said, yeah, there's no way such an alliance could work for so long that something like that could form in week 1 and still be in existence. Well, we'll have to talk later, Sarah Beth. But she's saying there's no way, if for no other reason than someone like Azza. She says she couldn't be in a big alliance like that with so many people because she was just too emotional about losing her fellow Jokers, Frenchie and Brittany. There's no way she would put up with some big alliance taking out her teammates, her Jokers alliance like that. So there's no way, Kylan, and it just doesn't exist. He's trying to tell her, and she's not buying it. She's also saying that, look, if you're right, Kylan, if that big alliance does exist, then neither of us has a chance to win this game. Well, she's not really realizing that the alliance is even bigger than this group of four that Kylan kind of is hinting around, and that Kylan's actually part of it as well. So, yeah, Kylan does have a little bit of a chance there, Beth, since he's part of the alliance, but she doesn't know that. All right, we've got a lot of wrong scenarios and assumptions from Sarah Beth about putting different people up when she gets the next HOH and what they would do and all. It's a lot of what ifs that aren't going to come to fruition. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with them right now. But she's throwing out a lot of things that she's planning on doing. Kylan is now saying, he just keeps going on about this supposed maybe there exists type group. He's now saying that he's thinking maybe the Woman's Alliance is this big secret group. And Sarah Beth saying, nah, there's no way. There's no way those women are in an alliance together. And Kylan, again, he's acting very cocky that he has figured this out. It's just this dawning moment that he's realized that this group very well could exist. I don't know. Does he think that once she learns about it in jury, she'll again then say, oh, he was right. Oh, give the vote to Kylan because he figured it out. Well, yeah, he figured it out. He's part of it. All right, so that's it. What else is going on? We've got Hannah talking to Tiffany. She's saying that, look, if we have to lose a Cookout Alliance member before Final Six, I'm fine if it's Kylan. And Tiffany said, I'm fine with it if it's Kylan as well. Again, I see it turning into a bit of a gender split at that point. Now, would they lose a Cookout Alliance member before the Final Six? Really, I think the only way is basically if Alyssa wins HOH. Remember, Claire can't win HOH this week, but if Alyssa won HOH and then the veto was either won by Claire or maybe Alyssa won it and used it on Claire, which I don't think would happen, but if Claire won the veto, then yeah, maybe Alyssa and Claire could both be protected. The Cookout Alliance then has to turn on themselves, which we've all been waiting for, right? Let's get a little drama going on in this house, but that's about the only way something like that could happen. And if it does happen, they're saying, yeah, we're okay with Kylan being the first one to go if that's the case. Yeah, it's interesting. Hannah, I mentioned yesterday, Hannah's been a little bit tighter, it seems like, with the guys. She saved Xavier, but now she's been talking to Tiffany and really saying, look, we got to get Xavier out. She mentioned that several times last night, saying, we need to be planning on getting Xavier. I think she mentioned it to Claire as well. I don't know if maybe she protected Xavier, and we know she did that thinking she'll get a little credit with Xavier, a little trust and support by doing that. Maybe now she's trying to calm things down a little bit with the ladies of the group and the women left in the house by making sure they understand that she's not tight with Xavier. She's ready to send him out the door, that she's firmly on board with the women. So I think to some degree, Hannah may be trying to play both ends just a little bit to protect her position. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a smart play as long as you don't get caught doing it too much. But yeah, so Hannah's kind of saying, yeah, maybe we need to be targeting Kylan at this point, but she's also mentioned Xavier as a potential target as well. So again, I still stand by my thought that we're going to probably have some women versus men conflict at the end. Tiffany again has already said she wants Big D out if at all possible, and we know Big D's ready to send Tiffany out the door also. So there you have it, guys. Let's see, is there anything else? All right, yeah, one more thing. Hannah's also talking to Claire saying she wants Xavier out. All right, we talked about that. And then finally she's saying that if Big D wins HOH, that he is definitely putting up Claire and Tiffany. She's telling Claire this. Well, yeah, absolutely. I fully expect that to be the case. But again, she's trying to make sure she maintains the relationships with all the women in the house. Now, she also says that anyone on the block next to Big D is going to go home. So I also think Hannah's doing little relationship building with Claire, just in case Claire wins this HOH this coming up week, that there's no incentive for Claire to maybe consider putting Hannah on the block as a pawn, as a target, anything else. So we're going to see more and more of that. Hannah's building her relationship. Tiffany was building relationships this evening as well. Expect a whole lot of that. And then finally Thursday, we're going to have the HOH. All right, guys, that's it. And then the other thing, as the background indicates, it was frustrating watching this thing last night. A whole lot of the feeds getting cut for short periods of time throughout the entire evening. I got that song stuck in my dun 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 dun. I got that song stuck in my mind. I'll be dreaming this thing for a month after this show is over, as is always the case. But that's the price we pay when we watch the live feeds. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. Enjoy your day. I'll be back tomorrow, and then tomorrow night's live eviction episode. We'll see what happens. Y'all have a great one, guys. Cheers. SKD 143. Bye.